we really have we really have been brainwashed to believe that we're the biggest crooks and criminals out here, and that could not be.
No, we're not, but we also think that we don't do any wrong.
Molly, can I please finish without you interrupting, though? Thank you.
Is there not room for improvement in the Black community?
Of course there is, and there's also room.
So what are we talking about?
Of course, there's room for improvement, but do you also can you also agree that there's also room for improvement of people's perspective on how they view Black women? Because if the view
because every time I look on the news, I see some Black woman looking ratchet doing something ratchet. Like,
so what are you paying attention to? Why are you always around such ratchetry? Because I'm not.
So why are we sitting here acting like this is not a thing?
We know that it's a thing, but it is such a thing that that's all you can consume, that you forget about the other side of it, that there are positives to the Black culture, that there are quality Black people out here. The hyperfixation on everything negative in the community.
What are the quality Black people doing, though? Are they shaking their butt?
You have any Black women you look
What are you talking about? My mother is Black. My grandmother is Black.
Girl, get out of here. Get out of here.
But I'm talking about as far as public figures. Who do we have representing us as far as public figures? Who are they taking to the White House? Glorilla. Who are they having dance on stage for political events? Meg the Stallion.
When it comes to who Kamala Harris and them, when it comes to who Kamala Harris brought out, that has nothing to do with us. That is propaganda 101.
That's our representation.
Molly, please.
Hold on, Molly.
Please, Molly, damn.
Hey, hold on.
YouTube, man, what's good? What's hood, man? It's your boy VitReacts, bumming at you with a brand new video. Hey, man, today we got a banger, man. Today we got Anton Daniels back on the channel. I ain't gonna lie, he cool, he solid. The title says "We Live the Stereotype." Mali, Jas go at it. So this is Mali, this is Jas. Is she being too weird, or are Black men too soft? Now look, man, I really don't understand this shit, but I wanted to click it because Jas on this bitch, and if y'all know Jas, I fuck with Jas, dog. She funny as shit. She look good, but she crazy as a motherfucker. So I know if she into it on this motherfucker, it's gonna be a funny vid. So without further ado, I'm finna go ahead and get to it. Before I get into it though, man, if y'all like that intro that I had at the beginning, man, be sure to like the video, because if you like the intro, you're gonna like the video. Comment you got something to say about the video, or me, subscribe if you know for the content, man. Without further ado, let's get into it, man.
James Duncan and Fahad Duwanu, who have a very popular podcast in the UK, and it does like relationships, they read tweets and about stories. They were sitting with Andrew Schultz, and they started talking about the Black woman effect. And they were mostly talking about, like in the Travis Kelce case, right? The fade, the beard, stuff like that. And Andrew Schultz said it's a defense mechanism. And he said, you know, because you might get beat. And he also said that some of what they did was in protection because they were always complaining.
To speak on Black women like that, that's all I was raised around. That's all I've ever done. That's all I know. That's all my, all I've been married to. Obviously, only been married once. But there are certain things you can't do. And so with Schultz, it doesn't have to be combative and fighting and getting up back and crazy. But I think those dudes should have pushed back. I think maybe their culture, the European Black dude culture, might be different than ours. But when I did see it, it upset me because the whole thing about, argumentative Black women and all this stuff, I think it's a stigma that people put on Black women, put on my Black sisters, put on my wife, put on my Black family members that I don't like.
Right.
I like a strong woman. If some bitch ass dudes can't deal with a strong woman and they say that's argumentative or combative, then go get you a weak woman, go get you a do-girl. But that's what I'm saying. If you're saying that, I'll push back and say, you don't want a strong woman. You don't want somebody that can run things. You want somebody that can push back. You want somebody that's opinionated. You just want a yes woman, and I can't deal with nobody with a yes woman. So I do think it was cultural when I saw it and saw them European dudes. I think they're built different than American Black dudes are. And I don't know how y'all feel about it. And I do think I felt a certain way about them disrespecting the Black women that I love and that I know.
He said he was married once before. Does that mean that he's divorced now? And if he is, I could figure out why. I could figure out why he divorced. He don't even know the reason why. Because we don't really want a combative woman. We don't want a woman we got to go back and forth with every day, dog. Don't nobody want it. Yeah, women don't even want a guy they got to go back and forth with.
So the context is Andrew Schultz, the comedian, was on a podcast, and again, he kind of explained it in the beginning, but just to summarize really quickly from the beginning, they were talking about the black woman effect. And the black woman effect, you know how a lot of guys or white guys or whatever, they get with black women, and next thing you know, they got a fade or stuff like that, right? And so the idea of it was Andrew Schultz made a couple quick jokes, and he said, oh, they get a fade so that they can have some cushion when she slap them or whatever like that, right? So comedian going back and forth. They're now saying that the guy should have pushed back against them and all of this backlash because Andrew Schultz had some fallout or whatever.
Yeah, now you doing domestic violence. Now she called the cops on you, you going to jail. Dumbass. It's like, what? Why would you want that?
Do you think that the guys that was on the pivot that I just showed you, were they simping, or are black women getting a bad rap and don't deserve the reputation of being combative? Do y'all think that they get an unfair shake and the label of being combative or having a bad reputation or angry or whatever like that? Do y'all think that in any way, shape, or form that is somewhat unwarranted, or is an unjust stereotype or anything like that?
I think it depends on the demographic of women that you're talking about. So I think there are a bunch of subgroups within the black community. So that's why I'm like, I can't speak on all black women, but there are certain demographics that probably live up to that stereotype, just like black men. So I wouldn't label all black women under that.
But people generally speak to the majority.
Mm-hmm. Or what's popular, or what's promoted in media. So,
or what's accurate.
Both can be true, but
I guarantee you, I could go on YouTube right now and find a 10-minute video, 20-minute video of black women being belligerent to other men, specifically black men. That doesn't speak to every single black man. If it doesn't apply to you, then don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Just laugh, and if you don't think it's funny, don't laugh.
But I don't think people should make general, because even when I've seen women make general statements about black men, I'm like, what category or what subgroup of black men are you talking about? So,
hey, but let me tell you something. That doesn't bother me. Because
it doesn't bother.
Well, no, I'm okay with them making that assessment, because it doesn't mean that I fit it, and it doesn't mean that it's not true either, right? If you say that, well, black men are behind most other groups when it comes to their financial significance, A, I'm not going to be offended because I'm not broke, but B, it doesn't make it any less true, right?
Absolutely.
So just because there's anomalies or just because there's standouts doesn't mean that as a group that we need to do better. If I see a bunch of young guys with poosh icy masks up down the street, don't fucking tell me not to stereotype. They look like jack boys. And self-preservation, stereotyping is necessary in order for self-preservation. So
exactly.
Why wouldn't listen, I'm not here to be politically correct. I don't give a fuck about what people think. I only care about whether it's accurate, and if it's not accurate, then change my mind. But stereotypes come from somewhere. There's some type of truth in there where it comes from. Now, I'm thinking that the women may have a different perspective because they are women and they have a different experience. But Dennis, I think you simping tonight.
Simping? No.
Yes.
In what regard?
I think
let's have the conversation. Or are you going to ask them first? Because I love to have a conversation.
Let's talk.
Okay. What regard am I simping?
Because I don't think that you're coming from a genuine place. I think that you say things that are right, but you generalize it so much to where you can't really be debated. But at the same time, it always comes from a feminist perspective.
A feminist?
Yes.
Okay. I can see where you're coming from. But ultimately, if I'm being honest, just like I admitted that the dudes were pandering on the show, there are a lot of guys that pander to women because that's how they get following. Like, there are a lot of churches that pander to women because they're the main ones that tithe. So I'm not pandering in any shape or form.
I don't think you're pandering. I think you're sipping. I didn't say you was pandering.
Yeah,
what's the difference? And if there is a difference, clarify that for me.
So pandering is doing things in order to reach a female audience or to make other people comfortable with what you're saying. Simping is a way that guys feel towards women. It's a genuine feeling that they have. Pandering is that you know better, but you still gonna say something to make other people feel good because you understand who the audience is. Simping is, this is the way I'm going to act around women or I'm going to act towards women. And then I look at things more from a feminist perspective.
Facts. That's how you see it. For real.
I mean, I can't really see how you can see that without genuinely getting to know me. But if that's what you feel based on
the 2 hours that we've been on here.
Well, I really haven't said much yet.
But what you have said speaks volumes.
Nah, that's crazy. But like you can even tell with his responses. You know what I'm saying? Like you can tell with his responses that he definitely a little more on that side. You know what I'm saying?
I agree to disagree. But ultimately I'll say
That's fair.
I don't believe that I've shown any form of sympathy. I've just been objectively honest. So if that's considered simping, then that's fine.
Well, you could be objectively honest, but it doesn't mean that you're not simping. Because you could really believe what you're saying. I believe that most guys and I don't think that you're an extreme version of it, but I believe that most guys that simp really believe what they're saying.
Okay, what in particular have I said during this conversation has basically giving you the perspective that I'm a simp?
Well, I don't think that you're a simp. I think that you do exhibit some characteristics of simping. So, for example,
okay, what have I said?
You know that we speak to the majority, but you made it a point, to try to deflect first because you wanted to buffer what you were saying by saying that, yeah, these guys they pandering, in order to justify you saying, well, that's not all black women. And it's like, okay, we know that. Like, without even mentioning it, we know that there's not 100% of everything anywhere. But when we speaking in general, I think, and I don't know if your girl's sitting next to you or what, but when we speaking in general, we speak to the majority, not the minority. But we could use ourselves as an example, but we speak to the majority, right?
For sure, always.
I think it depends on the context. So what I'm saying, if we're talking about personal behaviors, I can't judge it. Like, I think initially you say like how black men, you said they could be behind financially. I mean, that could be an actual fact. And I believe it's a fact based on certain statistics. But I'm saying as far as personalities, that's really what's promoted in media. So I'm like, I can't 100% say that that's a fact.
Is it promoted in media, or is it a thing that black men usually see on a regular basis?
Black men usually see. I think it depends on the type of women that you're around.
See what I'm saying? You
But
can't
that's not-
answer the
that's
question
not
directly.
simple.
You don't
Okay.
answer it because you don't want to
But
defeat
how am I
your
not?
argument by actually no. Because if we took a poll in the chat right now, I guarantee you that the majority of men will tell you that their experience with black women more or less aligns with what I'm saying versus what you're saying.
I can feel that. I'm not saying that there aren't black women that exude that behavior. I'm just saying, and this is just a general perspective
Most
that I
black
come from.
women exude that behavior.
But let me explain. This is a general perspective that I come in because oftentimes, especially watching your show before or any type of platform, whether it's women podcasts or men podcasts, they overgeneralize. Whether it's black men are trash, black men are this, black men don't love all this other stuff, or black women do this. I'm like, what category, what subcategories of black people are you talking about? Are you talking about hood black people? Are you talking about professional black people? What categories are we talking about? So if you're talking about, let's say, generically rough from around the way black people, I can get where you're coming from. But that's what I'm saying. Everybody doesn't fit into that model. So that's why I'm like, if you subcategorize it,
But they
it
do,
makes it more
because
clear.
even if you have people that are successful, the culture is toxic. So you can take somebody that's incredibly successful or somebody that has a lot of money, but it doesn't mean that they don't embrace culture that is absolutely toxic for the rest of us. Even though they may have been able to pull themselves out of that circumstance, it doesn't mean that the ghetto was out of them. They just taking it with them wherever it is that they're going. So even if you want to identify specific demographics of people and say, no, we're going to separate this person, we're going to separate that person. In most instances, the culture is still the most popular aspect of it, which is why I call it trash, because it's the thing that we celebrate the most. Most black people, no matter how successful that you are, listen to rap music, for example. That is a part of the culture. I very rarely can find anybody that don't listen to no form of hip hop, and so much so that it starts to affect other people in other cultures, which is why it just becomes popular culture and it's not just our culture. And so I'm not going to separate it by demographic. I'm going to separate it based off of what's the most popular, because that's the only thing that we can speak to. And you can add the context throughout the conversation, but it doesn't mean that it absolves you from addressing a direct issue. And the question still remains, are black women getting an unfair shake, and do they deserve the reputation that they have? My position on it is they absolutely deserve the reputation that they have, because not only do we see it pop in our culture, from our mothers, our grandmothers, and it may not be my mother in particular because my mother is not like that. However, it doesn't make it any less true from a cultural perspective of how we're influencing other people, our daughters, how it is that we're popularizing women having children out of wedlock. That shit is ghetto, and it doesn't mean that it's an unfair shake. It means that it's something that we celebrating, we champion, we promoting, not through the media, but through our own selves, because we are the media right now. And when we pick up these phones and these devices and we make
definitely
TikToks,
we are the media.
We have these conversations on these panels. What I see amongst Black women on a regular basis is popularizing and celebrating the thing that we don't like about them as men. So of course we can add the context and say, well, yeah, that woman over there or this person over there is different, but it doesn't absolve us from embracing a culture that is absolutely toxic for us as a whole.
I feel that. But like I said, genuinely from my perspective, I'm just coming from an objective standpoint. And I definitely get where you're coming from. Like I said, if you look at the majority, I could see where you get that. I guess for me, when anyone's presenting, especially when they're talking, let's say someone's talking about Black men, not necessarily that I have a feeling about it, but like I said,
like, do y'all notice that he keep putting it off a tough topic? He say, I'm looking at it as an objective point of view, but what he's actually looking at is subjective. He's taking it out of aspect, first of all, because he keeps changing it. He's saying Black women. Anton is saying Black women. He said Black women 3 or 4 times. The original question was Black women. And he said, let me put in an instance, if you say Black men, it don't matter. Like Anton said, if somebody say that most Black men are financially behind, even though I'm not, even though probably most of the people watching my video is not, we understand that as a whole, we are. Like, we understand
I feel like
that.
it's an inclusion of people like you, me, or anyone else. Now, I understand you could just say as an individual, I don't fit that mold. But I'm saying still when you say Black man objectively or generally, you're still including me, you, whoever else is on this panel.
Right, because I'm still affected by the culture. I still like saying fuck shit and rap music. And no matter how successful I am, I'm still affected by the culture that we celebrate the most.
Does that mean you subscribe to it or?
100%.
Okay.
That's kind of a contradiction, though, Anton.
It's not.
You definitely.
Because we all have vices. We all have ways in which we grew up from. And even if I'm actively trying to remove myself from it and I'm working on the things that I hate about myself, it doesn't mean that it's not still attractive to me, because that's the thing that I grew up celebrating. It's the thing that I grew up on.
Then therefore, how can you say you're an outlier and also say I subscribe to?
Because my results show that I'm an outlier.
That was going to be my question.
My results
you
show.
constantly separate yourself from the culture all the time, and now you say you subscribe to it sometimes. So, like, which one is it? And like, and if it's so toxic and we shouldn't be doing it, why is someone of your caliber subscribing to some of this toxicity?
Because, like I said,
first, before Anton answer this, it's a difference from listening to it and living it. The thing about rap music and hip hop was that it was actually just supposed to be entertainment. It was supposed to be entertaining like TV. But what happened was people started taking it seriously and started adopting that shit. So that's where it fucked up, is when people started adopting in it. So just because I consume it don't mean I live it. It's 2 different things.
Sometimes we're influenced by things that we grew up by. And even though you're actively working, because you'll forever be actively working on being a better version of yourself, which includes you shedding a lot of that stuff, you're still in it and you're still attracted to it, whether it be based off of proximity or by choice. So what makes me an outlier is that I was still able to get the results despite the fact that the culture is still so toxic, but it's not something that I celebrate because I understand how bad it is, and that you have a greater probability of failing while embracing a culture, which is why I'm an outlier.
So you're an outlier by your success and not your personal
Correct.
interest. Okay.
The results show that I'm an outlier, not the culture itself. It's almost like when people say, well, Jay-Z got dreads and he a billionaire. It's no fucking way that you don't have the pathway to be Jay-Z. You see what I'm saying? So if it's the thing that we embrace the most, if I want to celebrate something or if I want to champion something, that allows for you to be successful, you can't go the same way as Jay-Z because Jay-Z an outlier, even though he's a part of the culture. Yes, he's a billionaire, but the chances of you duplicating what he did in order to get there and still be able to have dreads in your head and be respected, even though you got to fucking go to work in the morning, it doesn't make sense for you. But we celebrate it and we champion it and we mimic it, and it's not something that we can duplicate.
It's not something realistic. You know, the most realistic things about being able to get out would be college. Then the next realistic, sports, you know, and then you got music and content creation and shit like that. But them are even worse outliers. Like the easiest and the highest percentage is always going to be either military or college. But that's, everybody understand that. The thing with black people is that I really don't understand the fucking problem. I'm not gonna lie. I don't understand how people listen to this music and actually take it serious to where they actually go outside and do that shit. Like, I wasn't listening to music, getting influenced by music. Like, I was like going outside and being influenced by the people around me. You know what I'm saying? Going to school and seeing who the popular kids was, and I was influenced in that manner. So, but the thing is that the fact is that most kids is actually influenced by music. So I can't really speak for the music aspect, but I know that and I see that people are influenced by the music as well, because the music is why these kids be doing that shit, but be living in the suburbs. I didn't grow up in the suburbs, you get what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it has to be the music, you know?
He's an outlier for a reason. So we shouldn't use him as a reference point because we can't relate to that level of success. And there's no way that we can duplicate that on a mass level.
But then you can also say that there are black women, men and women that are outliers, not by their success, but by their own personal interests. So by definition, they're an outlier.
Give me an example.
So have you ever talked about, like, let's say, I think people have talked about, like, let's say black men that act white or black women that act white. They just grew up in a different environment and just have completely different personal interests.
We don't respect them the same way. They not a part of, that's the thing. They not a part of the culture.
Because I'm saying, who doesn't respect them?
The culture.
Black people don't.
This is a fact. This is a fact.
The culture
in a
don't.
predominantly black neighborhood, and they always, you act like a white person, you act like a white girl. It's not respected.
That's why it's a saying. Like, it's a known saying. Like, oh, you act white. That's a known saying. It's a known saying for a reason. It's so common.
And eventually I just gravitated towards white people.
See?
It's the truth.
And the first, you know what they say? You know what they say to Molly? You know what I say? Whenever she make a point,
Molly.
or whenever she says something, if they want to try to get a Trump card on her, they'll say to her, but you're not dating a black man. That's the first thing they say to her.
But and then that only applies to certain people, though. Because Kamala Harris don't date no black man, but she a part of the culture. Do you want to know why? It's because she she throw that shit out there that she part of the culture. The difference with Molly is that she don't put it out there that she a part of the culture. So the culture don't support her. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference. If somebody's supporting the culture gonna support it. That's why Sexy Red got so much support, because she support the culture. But if somebody don't support the culture, then the culture not gonna support them. And I'm not even gonna say the culture supporting you is a good thing, because to me personally, if the culture supports you, it's a bad thing, because it will only support what breeds it, what helps it. You know, like it lines, like negative energy aligns with negative energy. Two people with negative energy just gonna breed more negative energy. It's like two people with good energy just gonna breed more good energy. You know what I'm saying? So a good energy person can't vibe with a bad energy person. It's not gonna meet. It's gonna stagnate out, and that's how it goes.
You dating a black man?
By proximity, a lot of them were just ratchet. I wasn't into that. I wasn't into listening to a lot of rap music. I like rock. I skateboarded. Who in the hood is really doing that? Nobody.
But
you know, so it's the truth. Like, we can't sit here and act like it's not a thing.
I mean, it's a thing. I mean, I didn't grow up in the hood, but there are.
I constantly got told, you act white. Da, 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 da. I was, I was a bit of an outcast. I was a part of everybody because I was there, but I was still the outcast because I did not fit into smoke the weed, listen to the rap. You know what I'm saying?
You grew up in the hood, Molly? You grew up in the hood?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
I did not grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth.
I feel you. So I guess my whole thing is that we can't. That's your own personal experience. That's not the majority.
But that's a lot of experiences of people who are in certain neighborhoods or demographics that don't necessarily align with that culture. You do get alienated. You do get told. I'm constantly told I'm not black by people who don't know anything about me. My mother and my grandmother are.
But what type of black people are saying? What type of black people are saying that though?
And that's what I'm
the same black people that Anton is constantly addressing.
The culture,
about hood culture that makes sense because growing up,
that's the popular culture though.
I grew up in the hood. Like, what are y'all talking about? Like, that's what I'm
saying.
trying to tell
If
y'all.
you're talking about hood culture, then that makes sense. But
and when you don't want to do the hood things, when you do want to go to school, when you do want to do certain things, they look at you like you're lame. You're trying to act white. You're trying to be white.
Yep.
It is. You do get outcasted. We can't act like this isn't a thing. If you don't fit into that whole stereotype.
Jazz be killing me, bro. Look at the mannerisms. Look at how she's looking.
You're lame. You're trying to act white. You're trying to be white.
Yep.
It is. You do get outcasted. We can't act like this isn't a thing. If you don't fit into that whole stereotype, they want to say you're not black or you a sellout or whatever.
Can I chime in? Because there's this constant like I feel like because what the media projects and propagates about black people, everyone seems to think that every black person has grown up in the hood, been to the hood, had a hood experience, and so they think that that's the worldview for all black people, and it's just simply not. And so going back to, because I really am exhausted with the constant like headline of bashing black women and black people just in general, black men, black women. It's like, is there anything else to talk about?
The black community does it to itself, though.
Okay.
But and then the thing is that talking about this shit is not bashing. That's one of the problems too, is that black, like, they so sensitive. Black people is the only people who will say, you act white, you act white. You not like us. You not like us. But then get mad when somebody else say that to them. Like, what? How the fuck you expect to dish it out, but you can't take it back? That's crazy work. Like, if you punch somebody and somebody punch you back, and now you act like one of them little scared dogs that get hit for the first time. You know them motherfucking ones they be doing? Like, bruh, you did it to me first.
Okay, Molly, can I finish, love?
And for us to be the minority, we have to say, and we're committing most of the crimes. We can't sit here and act
crazy
like
work.
it's not
We're committing
problem.
most of the crimes.
That's fact. Most of the violent crimes.
And this is why
the violent crimes, yes. The violent crimes. The violent crimes. The violent crimes. Yes.
We're committing most of the crimes
as a minority.
This is why I say what I'm saying. Please allow me to finish. But this is why I say what I say, because we really have been brainwashed to believe that we're the biggest crooks and criminals out here, and that could not be.
No, we're not, but we also think that we don't do any wrong.
Molly, can I please finish without you interrupting, though? Thank you. So all I'm saying is this: you had your experience because you grew up in the hood. You know hood things. You went on to get to school, and they made fun of you for it. I can't say that I had that experience, and I grew up around all black people. I went to a dominantly white high school, but there was a big chunk of black people there. My neighborhoods were all middle class to upper class black people, right? So there are levels to this, and just like Dennis was saying, what's being propagated is this byproduct of ratchetness, and y'all want to paint that picture overall, and it's not. And my issue that I have with the so-called joke, which was very tasteless, wasn't funny, that was a moment where they were pointing out the positive things of being with a black woman. The positive sides of being with a black woman will have a black, any racist man, because let's be clear, if you are a black man that gets with a woman who's stylish or has it, whatever, she's going to elevate you in that realm too. But it's a sight to see when it comes to white men, because we have this idea of how white men dress and how they act. But then when they get with a black woman, all of a sudden they take a little more pride in their appearance. Their hairline is a little more crispier. The swag is a little tighter, right? That was a moment to point out a positive factor in regards to black women, which is something that we don't usually see, especially on these platforms. And that white man had to use that moment to point out a negative stereotype about a specific type of Black people and Black woman and try to say, oh no, it couldn't be no positive aspect of them dating a Black woman. It's because they getting hit in their face or they're always complaining. And that's what I just don't, I can't honor that. And we have to stop sweeping over disrespect with it was a joke. Because in the context of their conversation.
He's a comedian. You guys will laugh at any other person that he talks about. He talks about everybody.
Molly, I'll let you know when I'm finished, love. I love to hear your perspective, but not when I'm speaking. Thank you. So as I was saying, what I'm saying is that.
You know what's interesting? I do understand what she's saying. Don't get me wrong. She's saying, why are they always talking about the bad things when it is some good things about it? This is why. The bad outweigh the good. Second, she's talking about these stereotypes that we are saying that's wrong with Black women. She's trying to say that they shouldn't be stereotypes. Yet she's portraying these stereotypes. How does that work? How are you trying to say there's no stereotypes, but you portraying every single stereotype that you saying don't matter?
That was tasteless. That in that moment, in that context, they weren't joking. They were simply talking about the Black wife effect. My question is, that was a positive moment. Why did he have to make a negative joke, something so stereotypical and something using his platform that will have other people believing this? I think
it's not a lie, though. Listen, I was on this panel last week. And the man said white men get a better version of Black men than Black men do. And I said, no, that is not true. And Andrew Schultz sat there and he proved my point. No, they do not always get the best version of a Black woman. Sometimes they do get slapped upside their head. Sometimes they do deal with ratchet women. Like they do. And we can't sit here and say that we're being disrespected, though.
You know what, Molly? Because I've been cut off. Quite frankly,
it's the truth. No, girl, listen,
are you
it's
that
the
type
truth.
Of Black woman? Are you that type of Black woman? Am I? Or is Carrie? Is Val?
Me and you are not the same. We don't even carry ourselves the same.
Are any of your peers? Are any of my peers that way? No. So
yeah. And I know ratchet Black girls that date white men. Like, what are you talking about?
What I'm talking about is that
my husband is white. Jas, my husband is white. We're not about to have this conversation when I'm sick. I literally am in a German and English immigrant family.
No wonder you think the way you think, baby, because you
what
really
do you mean?
You really believe that all Black women are violent like that, and we're not.
No, I don't believe. Do you see me sitting here getting as buck as you are right now? No, you
argue with me tonight, and I don't know why, because you're not.
I'm not arguing with you, Jas. You the one that's turned up, but you think that I'm not gonna say anything because you're being loud.
You're not even being respectful in this moment. I can't even finish my thought without you jumping in.
I turned off my mic, and you were still talking.
Well, no, I have been talking and you've been cutting me off, sis. So which stance you want to take? Because all I'm trying to get you to understand is that it's not cool. It's not cool for a white person to take a positive moment speaking about quality Black women and the effects and impact that they have on men, right, when they date them, to making it seem as though
Black women don't even like Black women. Girl, I'm pretty sure you will talk mess about a Black woman in a blink of an eye.
Most definitely.
No,
he made a joke.
I don't do corny shit like that. I'm not set up like that. My characters, I gain nothing by taking down my sister. I gain nothing by taking down my brother. I'm all about community. And that's why
listen, I don't want the representation of me to be some ratchet woman. But that's what it is. Why? Because that's what's being portrayed on the media.
Who told you that?
Maybe make the stallions twerking on stage for Kamala Harris during a political event. Let's start there. But this is not a thing. This is our representation politically.
Listen,
and we're sitting here acting like we're not the butt of the joke. If you took, I was not offended because I know that there is some truth to that.
I'm done, y'all. This is exhausting because you're so fixated on believing what you've been.
Jas, you just always want to be right. You don't like any pushback. But the thing is,
being very objective,
you have to be open to other people's perspective.
I hear what you're saying. I understand, and I say that you are right. There are some Black women, women in general who can be violent towards their men. What I'm saying is that is not the majority of our sisters.
And I stood up for Black women last week. I already understand. I understand this, but we still do have to be honest. We walking around with ridiculous looking BBLs. We're constantly loud. Like, come on, you go around.
Right. You know what? We're just terrible people. He was absolutely right. Andrew Schultz is absolutely right about Black women.
Is there not room for improvement in the Black community?
Of course there is, and there's also room.
So what are we talking about?
Of course, there's room for improvement, but can you also agree that there's also room for improvement of people's perspective on how they view Black women? Because if the view
because every time I look on the news, I see some Black woman looking ratchet doing something ratchet. Like,
so what are you paying attention to? Why are you always around such ratchetry? Because I'm not. Where do you?
I'm not, but what's being portrayed because the women that actually have some class, they're not doing that.
Do you go to the country club? Do you hang out at
yeah, they be ratchet in the country club too. What the fuck? They be ratchet in that motherfucker too. Bro, Black women ratchet everywhere. Some of them be ratchet going to the gym, dog. I go to the gym every day. There is not one time that I go out in public and I don't see a ratchet Black girl. Now, don't get me wrong, I be seeing ratchet other races too. But we talking about Black people. You know what I'm saying?
They're not doing that.
Do you go to the country club? Do you hang out at prestigious lounges? Do you go into political events? Do you really communicate? Are in community with quality Black people, or is all you know is ratchet women? Because that's what it sounds like. Because I know the rooms that I'm in, yeah, we like to have a good time, but we're elevated, intelligent.
Listen, if that wasn't the case, these white girls, all these other girls from all these other ethnicities, they sit there and they do the same belligerent stuff that they see Black girls do. They buying lips, they buying butts. So why are we sitting here acting like this is not a thing?
We know that it's a thing, but it is such a thing that that's all you can consume, that you forget about the other side of it, that there are positives to the Black culture, that there are quality Black people out here. The hyperfixation on everything negative in the community.
What are the quality Black people doing though? Are they shaking their butt?
I was just gonna
say that. I was gonna say that.
Dominate the top. You always dominate the panel.
I was gonna say that. Like, you say that it's quality Black people, but is the quality Black people doing the shit that the ratchet people doing? Fuck no. Is the quality Black people doing the shit that's in Black culture? Fuck no. Is the quality people doing shit that's said and rapped about in rap songs? Fuck no. They don't even present themselves like that. Jay-Z, yes, he got dreads, but does he present himself like a typical dreadhead? No. Not at all. The nigga wears suits damn near every fucking wear. Like, he don't present himself in no way, shape, or form like a regular, average Black person do, bruh. That's the difference. Now, don't get me wrong. I do understand what Jasmine's saying. It is a lot of Black people out here that definitely doing better. I ain't gonna lie. To me personally, I see Black people doing a little bit better. Like, the worse is getting worse, but the better is getting better. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's becoming to the point where, like, rich white people and how broke white people are, how big of a difference they are, it's becoming that same way in the Black community, like where the Black rich people is completely separating themselves from the poor Black people. Like, it's a full separation. It's like they don't share no kind of common places at all. So when we looking at the Black community as a whole, we looking at the average. That's what Jasmine don't understand. We're not just looking at the top of the top pole. We're not just looking at the bottom of the bottom pole. We're looking at the average. And the average Black family is on welfare. The average Black woman is getting child support. The average Black man has a child out of wedlock. The average Black woman is most likely is going to be single, and it's a high chance that she's going to be a mother. This is the average that we're speaking about. But if you look at the average of other races, it isn't the same for them. Asians, the average, you can't say that about them. The average Chinese American, you can't say that about them. The average Caucasian American, you definitely can't say that about them. Only like 13 or 15% of the white population is on welfare, dog. Versus like 80% or 90%, like damn near 80% of Black people. That is a big fucking difference. And that is horrible. That is horrible.
You know what? You're right.
You
I'm
dominated.
Done. Y'all got it. I'm done. I'm done.
And you are. What point are you trying to prove to me, though?
If you believe that is the majority of the women that you're around, then I would suggest that you find better quality environments to hang around in.
You see how she's trying to change it around? She's saying if you feel like that's the majority of the people that you hang around, that wasn't a topic. We talking about the most people that black people, period. Of course, me as a person, I'm not finna hang around the degenerates in my race. I'm not ever. I avoid them niggas. But I can't say that it's more common for me to find people like me that's my skin color than it is to finding the degenerates. Because I could go anywhere and find a degenerate, but I can't go anywhere and find somebody that's my color, that's in a prominent position, that's making money with their head on straight. It's hard. It's hard. And it's even harder to find a female like that.
Is what we're showing off.
At the end of the day, you are very white assimilating. At the end of the day, your mindset and your perspective is already skewed as a black woman because of what you do and how you do it and who you do it with, sis. And
because I saw that where I grew up,
all black
it was
women
a dead end.
Are ratchet because that's what you've been told by your counterparts.
I don't think all black women are ratchet. What are you talking about?
I'm done.
The portrayal of black women is ratchet. We have embraced a very ratchet.
Nobody is embracing
what black woman do you look up to?
That is what's
Tell me what black woman. No, Jas. What black woman do you look up to?
Great question.
God,
do you have any black women you look up to?
Girl.
Great question.
That's in the public spotlight.
Misunderstanding me, and I'm once again the one.
I understand you, but we have to you can't just see things. You gotta have some nuance.
Look up to you. Do you have any black women you look up to?
What are you talking about? My mother is black. My grandmother is black.
Girl, get out of here. Get out of here.
But I'm talking about as far as public figures. Who do we have representing us as far as public figures? Who are they taking to the White House? Glorilla. Who are they having dance on stage for political events? Meg Thee Stallion. So I'm not about to.
Oh God, they just took Kodak Black to the fucking White House. They just posted Kodak Black in the fucking White House. Why the fuck is he in the White House? I mean, I understand, his label got a lot of power with they part of that group for sure. So I understand that. Trump did pardon him the last term. So I understand that Kodak Black is very important in some kind of process of things with them white people. I understand that. But why the fuck is he in the White House? We have J. Cole, bro. We got J. Cole. Put him in the White House. That's the perfect representative for us to put in the White House. Not no fucking Kodak Black, nigga.
And do this with you today, Jas. I'm really not, okay? I love you to death. I understand where you be coming from as a woman, but we have to be honest. You're not being honest. Kamala Harris showed us who our representation was. It was Meg Thee Stallion. You want to sit here and tell me that that's not ratchet? It's ratchet to me. Maybe it's not ratchet to you. Maybe that's your norm. But for me, that's not my representation.
But can we also agree that there are two different subcultures in the black community for the most part?
That's why black people are never going to get anywhere. Y'all have too many subcultures and cultures. Get on one accord.
I was going to finish.
You know what I'm saying?
I was going to say.
Go ahead. But I'm just saying, black people, the whole black community is not on one accord. We want to sit here and talk all of this, and we want to say white people are so bad, but y'all cannot stop giving y'all money to white people. Y'all follow on white people's footsteps. Y'all follow every single thing that they do, but all of a sudden we can't be mad because we're being stereotyped, but we will stereotype a white person in a heartbeat. And I don't think ghetto has a color, first off. White people can be ghetto. Asian people can be ghetto. Hispanic people can be ghetto. We see it every single day. And if you want to sit here and talk about where we get our culture from, when economists are saying that we get our culture from Southern redneck white people, I don't want to hear it. Like, y'all have to come with a better argument than, oh, we're the best representation. So why aren't women who are a good representation of the black community put on those pedestals? Because all I see is stripper rappers.
Okay.
Well, go ahead.
I was going to just say, first off, as far as the joke, as far as the joke, it was just a joke. I mean, I grew up on raunchy. I grew up on raunchy comedy, so I'm like, it's just a joke. First off, but number two, I want to talk about the two subcultures within the black community. You got hood culture. Me, I was raised in church culture, and in church culture, as far as things in the hood, I never experienced that. So
Did this nigga say church culture? Dog, do you know that most of the people that grow up in the church don't represent that kind of culture? And how the fuck is church culture a thing? Oh, fuck, man.
I have a completely different view as someone who was raised in hood culture. And those are just two just prominent cultures
I
in
was
Black
raised
community.
in the church.
But-
too.
Hold on, Molly.
But I was going to say, as far as even with white people, I was going to say, since we're a smaller demographic, like if you look at white people, I think they're like 60% of the population in the U.S. And they have a bunch of different subcultures. You have country white people. You have prominent white people. You have trailer trash white people.
Yeah,
It's like you have a bunch of different subcultures, but since they're a bigger demographic, they're able to nitpick. Like not every white person is like a scuba diver or someone that's going to take it and like do adventures and risk their life and almost kill themselves doing stupid stuff. Are there white people doing that? Yeah. But I'm saying, as far as the jokes, it was just jokes. I don't think anybody.
You know what the problem with that though is, Dennis?
What's problem?
And I understand where you're coming from. Is that we don't separate ourselves from
Every other culture does.
Exactly. We don't separate ourselves. If I say no, I'm only going to align with people that's going in the direction that I'm going in, then we call it sellouts.
Mm-hmm.
I never.
I don't have to align myself with Meg Thee Stallion and all of them. I don't.
Can I say something in regards to this?
I've never
Give
seen
you 30 seconds.
You don't tell me what I did. So what I'm saying,
it was a joke. Relax.
All right, well, make it funny next time. So what I'm saying is that when it comes to who Kamala Harris and them, when it comes to who Kamala Harris brought out, that has nothing to do with us. That is propaganda 101.
That's our representation.
Molly,
Hold on, Molly.
Molly, damn.
Hey, hold on. Molly,
You
cool.
doing a lot.
Hold on, Molly, cool. Jazz,
No,
go ahead.
Jazz, you on every panel doing a lot. Don't start with me today. I know I'm usually ladylike and quiet, but don't get it twisted.
You're not even letting me get my words out, girl.
Look
Go ahead.
at she added. She said, I'm really ladylike, but don't get it twisted. No, that's Zach. Look at her.
Ladylike and quiet, but don't get it twisted.
You're not even letting me get my words out, girl.
Go ahead, but all you do is talk and you never say anything.
It's a beautiful wig.
So go ahead and talk, Jazz.
I see you. It's a beautiful wig.
Girl, boo. You have seen my hair before. My hair is killing yours. And don't make it about my hair. Don't make it about me. No, don't make it about me, though.
Don't make it about her, because I ain't gonna lie. Molly killing. I fuck with Jazz. I fuck with the dark skin shit. Don't get me wrong. And it ain't many panels I done seen where Jazz ain't the baddest on the panel by looks. But I'm gonna be real. Molly killing your shit. I'm upset that she with a white nigga. I'm trying to snag her ass from that nigga on God. What the fuck? Cause she cool. She's cool with that. You feel me?
You all going to Chicago. Don't make it about me, honey.
So what I'm saying is this.
Hold on.
Extra spicy.
Hold on, y'all.
I'm extra spicy every day, so you might as well learn who you talking to. Don't come at me like you come at every other woman that comes on this panel, Jazz. Okay?
Hold on, y'all.
Okay. You are a long time ago. Okay. You sleep with a white man. That says everything.
So what?
Yeah, that is crazy. I ain't gonna lie, that is crazy though. Like, at the end of the day, fool, you can feel however you want to feel. That's gonna be the end of this motherfucker. Baby, hold on. Let me go live this.
There's a lot.
I don't work.
Ladies.
I don't punch a clock.
Look at the face.
There's a lot.
I don't work.
Ladies.
I don't punch a clock. I don't have to get up in the morning and go work and then go answer to a man at the end of the day.
Bravo. Don't nobody give a fuck.
Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Listen.
Goofy ass. She doesn't even realize how brainwashed she is.
Hold on. Jazz. Ladies.
That's old out there fine though, bro. I ain't gonna lie. It's her personality that throw her off on me, boy. But she down there fine as shit though, man. What y'all think about this video, fool? They need to get off this topic. What do y'all think about this video, dog? This shit crazy. I don't give a fuck what nobody say, bro. Anton Daniels, probably the best black entertainer. Dude that be setting this shit up on the internet. I'ma be real. He be doing his shit, man. This been a long ass video, for if you here right now, If you here right now, you fuck with the content, bro. You might as well subscribe. Make sure you comment, like the video, and click another video. 3 on the screen right now, man. Be sure to click one up. Instagram, Twitter, Twitch at the top. Twitch, I'm live every night. Instagram, you know what I'm saying? If you want to talk, chop it up, whatever the case may be, you could talk to me on that motherfucker, but you got to be following me. If you're not following me, I ain't going to hit you back. You feel me? It's been your boy, Vic Reacts, and I appreciate you tuning in. Make sure you have a good one. It's been your boy, Vic Reacts. I said that already. Stay up and be blessed. Peace.